Good evening. I'd like to ask you a few questions. Annie, is this a good time?
Good evening, Jim. I'm just finishing up with some chores. It's all right. How are you doing?
Tomorrow you and Stuart will be at home, right?
Yes. Stuart, who works in another city, is coming here for a meeting at the head office, so he will be home from tomorrow until Saturday or Sunday. Since it's so important, I'm taking a day off tomorrow too, so we'll both be home all day tomorrow.
If you don't mind, I was thinking of showing up too, if that's okay.
No problem, but are you coming alone?
Yes, I am. You see, as you know, Annie, Stuart hates his mother's meddling terribly. He's resolved to never tell her about this visit. If she finds out, she'll definitely go to see him. She's so nosy.
Yes, that's what I've been told too.
So that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm going to go out in the morning and say, I'm going to see a local friend of mine who's in the area. Actually, I'm not lying, because I'm really going to meet my friend. I'm going to visit my friend, and then I'm going to see you both for the first time in a long time. Is that okay?
I see. No problem. Well then, I'll let Stuart know the plan.
Thank you. So tomorrow, after I meet my friend, around 1 p.m., I'll come to your place. Is that all right?
Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Annie, I'll need you to do some housework over here tomorrow. Take the day off from work to come. Can you reply?
What?
Don't say what. Say yes. That's the only acceptable response. Also, when you come here, come by car, not public transit. I'm going to the supermarket, and I'll have lots of heavy groceries.
I can't tomorrow. I have important things to do.
Huh? Some errand? Are you saying there is something more important than helping your mother-in-law? I just told you the only acceptable response is yes.
I'm afraid I can't, even though normally I would. The timing doesn't work for me. Tomorrow's errand is really important to me, and it's my #1 priority. I'm sorry, but I can't help you, Susan. If you could ask me on a different day, we can set something up. But if you ask me out of the blue...
It's just a little housework and some shopping.
You're not close enough to go there and come back quickly, so it's difficult.
Hey, what is it you're doing if an hour and a half out of your day is a hassle? You must be so disorganized or lazy. You really have a hopeless personality, don't you? You are so useless.
No matter what you say, there will be no change of plans. Bye now.
Hello, Annie.
Hello, Jim.
I've called Stuart, but I think I'll be arriving there in about 20 minutes.
Yes, take your time. I'll be waiting for you.
Hey, idiot! What time are you coming over here? I've been waiting until now. I still have all the cleaning and shopping to do. You are the daughter-in-law. You're the one who's supposed to be doing all the housework, and you're the one who left it all undone. So get your ass over here. Come here in half an hour. You'll have to prepare dinner, too. This is your punishment for talking to me like a smartass. I'll let you off with this much, so be grateful and come and do it. Don't be lazy. Come quickly.
Oh my God, Susan. I told you I was busy and you ignored me.
I told you that my needs as mother-in-law should come first.
Not in this situation. You should at least do the housework in your own home yourself.
Oh, you're such a moron. You idiot wife. If you can't listen to me, you have no value. Now, divorce my son and get the hell out of my life.
Susan, you might want to stop being so abusive to me.
Huh? That's a terrible accusation to call me abusive. I'm just trying to discipline my moronic daughter-in-law who doesn't listen to me.
Your husband Jim is very angry.
What? Susan, that's enough. What? You? What are you suddenly talking about? Don't play dumb with me. I'm at Stuart and Annie's house. What? Stuart came home over the weekend for work. I came to see him on the way to see my friend. Stuart is home? This is the first I've heard of it. I didn't let you know. I didn't tell you. If you'd had told me, I would have gone with you today. Then I could have disciplined Annie in person. Why didn't you tell me?
Stuart asked me to keep it quiet, so I didn't tell you.
Stuart did? Why? He's not the kind of boy who would cut his mother out of his life, is he?
You're still unaware, huh?
Unaware of what?
That Stuart is annoyed by you.
What?
Being annoyed by me? That can't be true.
I've loved him so much ever since he was born. How can a mother's love for her child be so deep and he can't feel that?
You should realize that your mother's love is actually your own self-indulgence. Stuart is fed up with all your interfering, even after he's grown up.
How can you say that?
You're the one who should have done something as Stuart's father.
What about you?
I don't know how much I can call it fatherly, but I'm proud to say that I'm what Stuart needs as a parent when the time comes.
Huh? What are you talking about? What makes you think he feels that way?
Let me give you 2 examples. The first one, I've been introduced to a classmate who says he is Stuart's best friend.
What? Best friend?
You know Curtis, don't you?
What? Curtis? The boy I told him not to hang out with because he grew up in an orphanage? You mean Stuart was friends with that boy, ignoring what I told him?
That's right.
Oh my God. Orphans are nothing but losers when they grow up.
Curtis is now the president of a company with an annual sales of $1.5 billion.
What?
He studied with the best university overseas while earning his own tuition, graduated, and started his own business. When I met Curtis, Stuart said, he's going to be a big shot someday. Unlike you, he had a good eye for people.
That parentless man is the president of a company with an annual sales of $1.5 billion? You're kidding, right? How is that possible?
Let's go to the second one. Annie, who became Stuart's wife. Stuart introduced her as the girl he's thinking of marrying, 2 years before he came to tell us he was marrying her.
What? I didn't know anything about that.
He said he wouldn't introduce her to us until the last minute because he knew his mother would object for no reason if she knew.
So then, that's why he rejected my idea for who he should propose to. Because he was already dating Annie.
Who in the world was this matchmaking with?
You know her. It was Amelia.
Huh? You mean that Amelia?
Yes. She and I worked at the same part-time job and we got to know each other very well. She's charming, beautiful, and the daughter of a CEO. She's a much better match for Stuart than Annie, who's from a mere working-class family. And Annie is an idiot wife who can't even listen to me. If this was going to happen, I should have forced him to marry Amelia back then.
That Amelia, though. She's a single mother now with 3 children whose fathers are unknown.
Huh?
She's divorced and her parents have disowned her.
Huh? She's that kind of woman? She's the daughter of a CEO.
Everyone in her hometown knows about it. Your prejudice, which only looks at the surface, is so obvious.
No, but I didn't mean it that way.
Once again, I'm glad Stuart has a good eye for people. If he had followed your advice to choose someone, he might have had to go through an unnecessary life of hardship. I'm also glad he didn't inherit an insane personality like yours. I'm glad he grew up to be a decent human being, even with you as his role model.
I don't mean to be.
I'm getting off track here. I didn't realize you were also so verbally abusive.
I was just trying to keep her in line.
I think that idiot wife and other such abusive words are unacceptable. Stuart is nodding his head in agreement.
Even Stuart? It's terrible. You're all excluding me, treating me like some villain. Don't you feel sorry for me?
I'm leaving now. Let's talk about our future.
Our future?
10 years ago, I gave up and accepted your personality. But this time, there are too many things I can't overlook. I'm not going to change my mind about this.
What? Annie, Where the hell did you go? Answer me!
Yes, what is it?
You! Where on earth have you run off to? I came to check the house, but it's deserted.
Oh, you're home after all. You were right to take your husband's advice and move out first.
Huh? My husband's advice?
Well, I suppose he's not your husband anymore. The divorce papers were officially accepted, weren't they?
Shut up! It's his fault for not understanding my feelings for my child. But I'm sure Stuart will understand.
Even though Jim told you so much, you still don't understand.
What? Annie, you only spent 3 or 4 years with Stuart. You can't understand the depth of the bond between a mother and her son who spent almost 30 years together. Stuart is being deceived by you people. He would never cut me out of his life.
Stuart decided we should move out to get away from you.
What?
To be precise, he decided to take me with him to the city he works in.
He took you to live in the city?
I decided to go with him because I can work remotely.
Well, then, I'll come with you.
There's no point in coming. We've already changed the address over here.
What? Why didn't you inform me?
I'm afraid you might barge in on us, so we've moved.
You're trying to separate Stuart and me.
No, I'm just following what Stuart decided.
I don't believe you. Give me back my little Stuart.
Uh-huh. If that's how it is, that's fine with me. As long as you can't understand Stuart's feelings, you might as well think you'll never see him again.
Huh?
I have nothing more to say. Bye now.
Hey, Annie! What did you mean by that? Tell me! Annie!
Confident in her absolute love, no one's advice seemed to reach Susan's heart. Stuart has always been troubled by over-interference by his mother. He often consulted his father, his best friend, and me, his wife, about every problem, trying not to lose his common sense. On the day his parents' divorce was finalized, he said, "It's finally over." My father-in-law, Jim, said, "I'm sorry it took so long." After he said that, they both felt relieved. I also felt relieved thinking about everything they had lived through. So my mother-in-law was cut off from both her husband and her son. But then she fell in love with a young man who looked like her son. She spent all the money she had on him, and before she knew it, she was deep in debt. I'm afraid of what happens to people who can't stop themselves, but I have no intention of helping her at all. Stephen, can you make some time for me? I have a question I want to ask you. Can I call you?
Oh, now?
Right now, if possible. It's important.
What's so important? I'm in the middle of a conversation with my parents. Can't I call you when I get home?
I'm calling because I want to hear from you as soon as possible. If you can't take the call, you can just text with me.
I guess I don't have a choice. So, what is it?
My bank book and my credit card I left in the safe are missing. Do you know anything about it? They were definitely there last week, but when I looked just now, they're gone. Did you move them somewhere else?
Oh, about that. I withdrew the entire amount in the last few days and gave it to my dad.
What do you mean? All of it? That was $30,000, wasn't it? Why did you do that?
Look, I'm rebuilding my parents' house. They said it was $25,000 more than they had planned for some reason. I looked at the bank book in the safe and found your $30,000, so I thought it was perfect. Oh, and the other $5,000 is to cover the sales tax.
Why are you taking my money without consulting me? And why are you using it to rebuild your parents' house?
Well, we're going to live together in the future.
What?
It's a 2-family house for my parents' retirement, and we should pay for it too, right?
Wait a minute. What do you mean, live together?
Huh? I don't have to explain it to you, right? We are the eldest son and daughter-in-law. We're supposed to take care of our parents when they get old, so it's only natural that we live with them. You are the eldest son's wife, right? So that's why. You should have been prepared for that from the time we got married.
What are you talking about, Stephen? I really have no idea what you're saying.
What?
This rebuilding to a two-family house is for your sister to move in, not us. It's so they can live with your sister and her husband.
What? Why would you think that?
We talked about it when we got together in the summer, right? Your sister's husband, for some reason, wants to leave his parents and move in with yours. So, because of that, we discussed them living with your parents. You said, okay, and kind of gave the go-ahead. Don't tell me you don't remember that.
Huh? What's that about? I know he was going on about something, but was it about moving into that house? I don't remember that at all.
I remember you were drunk the whole time, drinking in the middle of the day. So you didn't think anything of it.
That's,
Your father and mother are more comfortable with their own daughter. So, in other words, they'd prefer to live with her rather than me. That's already in the process of being discussed with them.
So we can't live with my parents? Does it mean that the two-family house is not for us? I'm the eldest son. How is that possible?
You know what? Even if you didn't hear what was said during our summer gathering, didn't you think it was strange that we never talked about the reconstruction of your parents' house, even though it's already in full swing? At that point, didn't you at least think something was off? You didn't at least think something was wrong at that point?
No, I'm the eldest son and I'm supposed to live with them.
Well, anyway, that's not what I'm asking you about right now. Why did you take my bank book without asking me? That money was saved up when I was single. It's not yours. Even if we were to move in with your parents, you can't just use it without my permission. You have about $10,000 of savings money, don't you? If you want to help your parents, use your own savings first.
No, you know what? Actually, I already spent it.
What did you spend it on?
I paid for my parents' vacation.
You mean that long trip overseas last year?
I wanted them to enjoy some time alone before we move in together.
But your sister and her husband are the ones moving in with them.
Well, I didn't know that, so you can't blame me. It wasn't on purpose, so don't blame me.
It's not that you didn't know, it's that you didn't listen to me. On top of that, you wasted $10,000 with your mistake. On top of that, you even used up my $30,000. I know you want to show respect to your parents, but the way you did it was wrong.
I'm sorry I was wrong about so many things. But you know what? Your 30 grand and my 10 grand were our money. It doesn't matter when we saved it up. What's wrong with using a married couple's common property to help out their parents?
What are you talking about? The money you save when you're single, even after marriage, your spouse can't spend it without your permission.
Huh? What kind of rule is that?
I'm just telling you what the law says.
The law? Is there really a law like that?
The money you saved when you were single is your own property. Just because we're married doesn't mean you can spend my $30,000 without my permission. And I can't spend your $10,000 without your permission either. Do you get it?
What's with all this the law crap? Marital duties and respect to parents are more important than those things. Don't you have any feelings for your relatives? Don't you appreciate my devotion to my parents?
If you want to use your own money for this devotion, you can do whatever you want. I'm saying I wish you would have consulted me before taking out my money. It was a mistake to give each other our passwords. I think we should just get a divorce.
What? Why?
I didn't think you were this selfish and stupid. I don't trust you, so I'm going to consult a lawyer. Of course, you'll have to return that $30,000.
Hey, calm down. I'll be home soon. Let's talk about this properly.
I can't. I'm going to go stay at my parents' house now. That night, my in-laws came to my parents' house. They said that my husband had told them that my $30,000 was money that he had saved by himself. My in-laws, who were suspicious of my husband's flustered behavior on the phone, questioned him and found out what had happened. In a panic, they came to apologize with the bank book, credit card, and $30,000 in cash that had already been withdrawn. My husband, who was the main perpetrator in this situation, did not come to apologize directly. Instead, he took the stance that, "Your money's been returned, so get over it." So I quickly divorced him with the help of a lawyer. However, after that, I continued to receive messages from him asking me to get back together with him, so I blocked him. I also changed my phone number and email address, moved out of my parents' house, and started working.